Hi everyone. Um, so this would be the second part of my IELTS preparation hacks, the video series that I wanted to make of three parts. So today is the second part of that. So as in the first part we have mentioned practice. So this part I would like to mention the second most important element of the preparation, which is to me uh, being involved or being engaged, right? So when I say being involved means we see, obviously when we want to sit down for an IELTS test or any English test, that means English is not our first language, right? English is not our native language, so definitely we have come from a different language, right? Background. It can be Bengali, can be Hindi, can be Urdu, can be Polish, can be anything. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this. The reason behind is you cannot just do your practice, only practice, right? You practice for 6 months, as I mentioned in my previous video. Um, you can check that out. Just practice and then expect that you'd be doing very well in the exam. Probably 10%, 15% people will be able to do that, but majority of the people, just by practicing, that is not enough, right? You have to be involved, and when I say involved means you have to be with the language, any language. If you want to learn that language, either you need to be with the people of that language, or you need to read some books or read some article in that language, right? So exactly the same way in English, if you want to do very well, not only for your IELTS test, also post IELTS. So if say you want to do, you want to work, or you want to have a business in an English speaking country, you need that. You need that fluency, that effective and efficient way of communication. You need that in you, right? So read books, right? Read books, and when I say read books in English, uh, don't take these in a way that, oh, it's just a super boring, and which book should I read? Any book. It can be any article. It can be paperback book, or it can be online book, or online article, or online newspaper, or a physical newspaper, right? Anything. If you like fiction, go for it. If you like non-fiction, go for it. If you like autobiography, if you like history, if you like science, physics, chemistry, any subject within the STEM, if you like business, leadership, so be it. Pick whatever you feel like picking, right? And look, you don't have to buy all the brand new books. Go to a library, pick some books. If you cannot access a library, there are a lot of articles online. You definitely have a passion for something, right? It can be sports, can be cricket, can be football, can be Real Madrid. Who cares? As long as you pick something and you read, not just a week before the exam, right? That's not going to help you, obviously. And I'll come back to that point later on. Just read, just be involved. When you actually student, when you actually plan to do something which is pushing you to sit for an IELTS, obviously you know where you want to go, right? What's your goal? So from then onward, you should be engaged, right? Watch video. These days, people are more into vlog than blog, right? As they say. So if you're not into reading, I'm not saying that you have to read. Everyone has to read. Reading is good, obviously. I love reading, but if you're not into reading, or if you don't have enough time, or probably you don't have access to audiobooks, watch something. Watch something, right? Um, it can be any vlog, it can be any documentary, it can be something funny. It can be something funny. It can be a podcast, a funny podcast. No matter what it is, right? It can be a lecture. It can be, it's up to you how you actually want to sort of formalize your involvement, right? If you want to always, you know, to be able to pick up good vocabulary, the good grammar structure, good pronunciation, then obviously you have to move away from funny cat video to something which you can actually take something out of that video, right? But then again, nonetheless, just try to be involved, right? Read something, watch something, listen to them, right? So these will always help you um, you're speaking and you're listening, and especially when you read books, it's going to help you in the other two segments, right? Which is writing and reading. Writing and reading. Reading is obviously, I don't have to say much about reading, because obviously you're reading something, so your reading skill would be improved. But also writing, so you'd be able to understand the pattern of the sentence, the structure of the sentence, right? Automatically, the more you do these, automatically by default, things will be coming naturally, right? Because you're already involved. You know how the pattern works. You might not be able to understand the gerund, the infinite verb, and the finite verb, and so on and so forth. But see, in Ielts, no one's going to be asking you about questions on those. As long as you can confidently, you can form you can structure a sentence, right? You can also understand. You can also learn spelling. Obviously, you can obviously gain a lot of vocabularies. Also, you can understand the correlation. Sometimes what happens is when we speak or when you write, there is a very less correlation happens, right? So we start here, and instead of going from here to there, we go from here to there, right? To completely no correlation, right? So when you say something, when you write something, it has to be correlated, right? So that's called being involved or being engaged, right? Then another point is another very important point, which is which can be dangerous. If you take this advice and now if you apply only a month before your exam, or only a week before, or a couple of weeks before your exam, that will make you more pressurized. That will make you feel pressurized, right? That, oh my god, I have to do this right now because I have exam in about a month, I have exam in about 2 weeks or 1 week. Don't do this. Do not do this. The psychological aspect of this exam or any exams, I'll talk about this in my next video. But do not pressurize yourself, right? If you say, for example, you have in your hand 6 months or 1 year, and you know that yes, you have to sit for an IELTS exam in about a year time or 6 months time, that's fine, no problem. But if you know that, if you're watching now this video, or for an example, right, or you only have like a month in your hand only, don't start reading out, because what's going to happen is you will not be able to enjoy that. If you don't enjoy that, then your brain will not be able to capture that in an efficient way, in an effective way, right? So you will be reading something, but in back of your mind you have your exam, so that will keep on pressurizing you, which is not a good sign, not at all. You're probably watching something, instead of just enjoyably grasping information out of it, you'll probably be thinking back of your mind, I have to listen to it just because I have exam. So don't do that. Right? If you have enough time in your hand, do this gradually. Every day, listen to something for half an hour. Every day, read something for half an hour or 1 hour. Just do it consistent way. Right? You don't have to sit down only on the weekend and read like 8 hours. No one's saying that. Right? Every day, half an hour. Just take half an hour out of your time. Right? You'll be able to understand the sentence structure, how you can be correlated within your writing piece, how you can actually, if you listen something, you can obviously be able to pick up different vocabularies. You should be able to learn a lot of new words, new sentence structure. So all these things will actually add up, right? On the listening part, though, if you watch something, and if you're watching someone who is actually from an English background, or a British background, or American background, Australian background, do not try to focus too much on the accent, right? That's another mistake people do. They're trying to make the accent so impeccable that they just feel completely lost in the exam sometimes. So back of the mind, that's another element comes to play. Oh, my accent's probably not right. No one has communication, right? As long as you can communicate properly, as long as the audience can actually understand, as long as they can understand what you're trying to say easily, in an effective way, right? In an efficient way. That's important. don't focus too much on accent, because the more element you put on unnecessarily, the more pressurized you'll be feeling, right? Which is not a good sign at all. You need to enjoy this whole process of the exam, right? Okay, so I think I'm already 10 minutes mark, so I'm just gonna finish here, and I will see you in my part 3. Hope you enjoy, and I hope this is somewhat helpful. Thank you.